Well, there it is. Hello guys, welcome back once again to another Warcraft 3 Reforged, well, video. And this time we're going to be looking at the character models for Arthas, Sylvanas, Jaina, and more. According to Wowhead, they've done it again. So they say our next set of Warcraft 3 Reforged model previews covers characters, major ones, selectable from the single-player campaign related to the Alliance storyline. So here we have Admiral Proudmoore. Wow. Now he definitely looks a lot different to the original. For those of you that don't know, the original Admiral Proudmoore is basically a reskinned Arthas with a sword. They pretty much just slapped on a different colour beard. They just slapped on a beard and basically that was it. That is basically Arthas with a sword. Here, he definitely has his own flair and personality. Look at the shoulder pads. The cape with the logo for the Kael'thas. Oh my goodness, like the blunderbuss gun. Like, what is this? This is something else. This is a proper pirate weapon, that one. And of course the hat. This screams excellent to me because it shows that they're putting a lot of effort into the detail, which we have had issues with because sometimes they go a little bit over the top with the detail. But I think in Admiral Proudmoore's case, this works wonders. Feel free to disagree with me. If you got any thoughts, please leave those in the comments. I love reading those, so make sure to write down in your comments whether you do like Admiral Proudmoore, whether you don't like Admiral Proudmoore. And the same for the other characters I'm going to be covering, because that way I can sort of gauge your opinion. You go, oh, you guys really didn't like it. I thought I liked that one. But, oh, well, maybe you have a point. But look at the cutlass as well. Like, everything about him looks right for what the character is. He's supposed to be portraying. He's like the Lord of the Seas, so to speak. He is the king of the sea. He's he's a king pirate basically, but he's also in command because the shoulder pads and like the regalia and all of that kind of costume sort of like gives him that look. Not just a filthy pirate. He's a pirate who's definitely in charge. Arr. So we have the blue look for him as well, which is basically the same thing. But obviously you can see what he looks like in a slightly different colour, different tone. And there seems to be more of a hero glow as well, which I didn't quite notice with the other models. So this is looking much better. This hero glow, this is what we want to see as well, because it's very important that the heroes definitely show up. It gives them that much more gravitas. So I'm liking the hero glow a lot more. And yes. This is Antoninus. Much better than the Deckard Cain version. No doubt about it. He looks like an upgrade from the Deckard Cain. But the only downside is, of course, the horse is almost a little bit too decorated. And it's kind of hard to see like the face of the horse and things like that. You can see the face of the horse in the original very clearly. As strange as that is, whether you want to see the face of the horse or not. But even Antoninus' face feels like it's almost a little bit too covered up. Somehow. I don't know. It's just a beard and his face, but it just somehow feels like he's a little bit too covered up. I do like the mantle that's behind him and the shoulder pads. They are a little extravagant, but they're not too much extravagant because they show off a good clean red colour that indicates that he belongs to the player red. But that's about it. It's only the shoulder pads that give it away. Like the staff could have like a red colour to it on the shaft. And the front of the horse could be red as well. Like this. I'm just thinking. Maybe the side of the horse. Like his cloak could have like a red sort of tinge on the sides of the cloak. So along here and along here to make sure it's clear that this belongs to player one. Obviously you got a giant red glow below me. I am aware of that. Or below him. But I'm just thinking for the character model as well. Because Warcraft 3 had that a lot. And it really helped to identify who was who. So, just a thought. Moving on to the blue version. Yeah, it's just the shoulder pads. Ah, now we have Arthas. With a sword. Well, with a very important sword. It looks like Frostmourne to me. Frostmourne? Yes. Not Frostmourne. Frostmourne was actually a World of Warcraft server that I played on. Frostmourne is actually his sword. So Frostmourne hungers. So does Arthas for some biscuits, because he looks hungry right now. He looks a bit deprived. So, let's give him some biscuits after this, shall we? I really like the armor. It's very fitting in a way, because one, it looks like Stormwind armor, like it's who he is, but at the same time, because of the sword, it gives off this kind of darker vibe. It's not quite as shiny and polished as it could be. If you look at especially the lower half of him, it looks a bit dirtier, a bit darker, the tinge, which kind of reflects what is to come a little bit. So he looks a bit menacing here because of that. If he was super shiny, I don't know if it would have worked quite so well. So for me, I actually think that works well. I mean, even if you look at the cloak's a little bit tattered, isn't it? You can see like there's sort of breakages within the cloak itself. And of course, Frostmourne looks freaking incredible. Like, you don't get too clear a shot of it, but you can tell there is a hell of a lot of detail. You can see basically everything. All the ornaments, all the pieces, the runes, little yellow runes going there. And of course, like the battle worn. You can see like the shine. Excuse me, I'm still a little bit ill at the moment, you might be able to tell. But yeah, very nice. And there's the blue. Moving on to Arthas with a hammer. That's amazing. He's wearing the same armor set. Is it more gold though? It is. So yeah, he looks a little bit more drab. Like the golden colour is a little bit more worn out. Whereas when he's in his more holy Paladin stage, where he's not quite so near corruption, he looks a lot more holy and alliance. Do you see what I mean? Like, even the armor, like, it sets out. The armor is a little darker, but it's got all those gold rims, which makes him look far more for the alliance kind of Arthas, than rather for the Lich King kind of Arthas. Damn, it's freaking massive. Imagine swinging that thing and just one-shotting things. Clonk. That is very nice. No real complaints there. Actually, let's just have a look at the face. Can't. The face is a little. I think they are trying, but that's the face we've got. The hair itself, because that's the same as in the cinematic, the cutscene cinematic. Now this is what we were looking for. That looks like a Mountain King, because we saw that the other model Mountain King looked a bit almost more like a basic unit than an actual hero. This is the Mountain King that we are familiar with. However, I am fine playing with new hero models because it spices it up for like the gameplay, but I would like to play with this guy as my Mountain King. Give me something to do. That's quite hard to do when you're ill. Yeah, look at the shoulder pads. Everything about him just screeches pure strength. Massive beard, the braids, you know, like the freaking bracelets in the beard and stuff. Very cool. The shield doesn't actually have like the skulls on the back anymore. That was a weird thing. Like the previous model actually had like skulls, I believe. Now we got Jaina. That looks like Jaina to me. She's got the basic same costume, probably more World of Warcraft infused. The weapon is very much Jaina's weapon though, so I like that. That reminds me of what it used to look like as well. She looks very good. A little bit drab on the face, but that's okay. It is what it is. Kael'thas looking pretty freaking amazing. Again, this is a big improvement compared to the original Blood Elf model. At least the one that we've seen. Not that it's bad, it's just we're used to seeing the heroes as they are, which is what we want to see. So we got the blonde hair, the massive mantle. Look at these shoulder pads. Just oozing charisma and, you know, the highness of society itself. That's Kael'thas. He is the top tier. And he's not afraid to show it. Very, very beautiful. Like the design, the phoenix in the back. Unless that's a different symbol, but that looks like a kind of almost a phoenix kind of rising to me, but could be getting ahead of myself. Now we move on to Medivh. Look at the freaking staff. The raven. Super stands out, that does. Now this is very good because Medivh's not supposed to be like super showy or anything like that. He's supposed to be very down to earth. You know, he's actually above like everything in a way, but he doesn't let it get to his head. That's basically the Medivh. I mean, maybe in the day he had issues, but these days he's a lot more calm after he's learnt from his mistakes of the past. So you got like the little raven feathers, which is very important because that was all part of his costume. The cloak is very drab. I thought the cloak would have had more like raven feathers on it, but it's not an absolute necessity for me. As long as they show off some sort of emphasis towards the raven, which they clearly have. So, loving the Medivh. Moving on to Sylvanas Windrunner. I gotta say, all I see here is her undead form. I don't know whether that's just me, or you, or both of us. But I feel like I see like the World of Warcraft Sylvanas, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because her costume looks really good in that. And she looks really good in it. But I feel like I'm just seeing the undead one, not the... Maybe she needs to be a bit brighter in colour or something. Like a little bit more happy or something, you know. A little bit more vibrant. Make those colours not quite so worn out and drab, so that she shows that she is like the Alliance version, the perky, upbeat, nothing's going to stop me version. We're still alive. We can still make this before Arthas completely and utterly obliterates her. Oofah. I lost. Okay, so this is better. This is more like the Heroes of the Storm Oofah. He's got giant shoulder pad. He's got the book. The hammer just looks gorgeous because it's got two different sort of like sides to it, plus the sort of like the giant gem, the runes. And look at this cloak. He is a champion of the light, this man, and it shows. I really like the detail and the cloaking as well. And of course you get to see his hair, like the grey at the front, the brown long hair at the back, but he's armoured up to the kilt. It's just very, very good. I can't complain too much with Uther. Everything about him stands out. The giant shoulder pad, the hammer, the head, the hair, and the cloak. Like, when you're looking at this character from behind, you can identify him and what he is supposed to be. Particularly with that giant red glow. So, big improvement on the red glow there. Alright, thank you guys very, very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, make sure to thumbs up, subscribe for more content, because I'll be doing another video in a moment. For now, this has been the Warcraft 3 Reforged character models for Arthas, Sylvanas, Jaina. I mean, everyone else as well. I've almost forgotten at this point off the top of my head, but wow. Obviously, Admiral Proudmoore being my favourite, because just look at the effort they put into sort of separating this guy. If you just look at the original model of him in Warcraft 3, you'll see what I mean. Now, I'm the type of guy that wants Warcraft 3 to look like Warcraft 3, so I want the new models to look like the original. But for Admiral Proudmoore, that's fine, because they basically just used Arthas with a beard as a placeholder for Admiral Proudmoore. So this is what he should look like. So good to see that they can take that in the right direction as well. Thank you guys very much. Have a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.